"Yes, sir, I recognized you. No, I know who you are. As soon as the window rolled down and I could see your face, I knew who you were." These words would make any police officer's blood run cold, but what happened next wasn't just embarrassing, it was career-ending. Meet FBI Special Agent Alexis Hatton, December 20th, 2019. A routine corruption investigation in rural Northwest Florida. He thought he was meeting a deputy about a questionable traffic ticket. Instead, he found himself handcuffed, suffocating in the back of a police cruiser, fighting for his life. This is the story of how one corrupt deputy's ego almost killed a federal agent, and how body cam footage exposed the truth that would shake an entire sheriff's department. Agent Hatton wasn't looking for trouble. He was investigating police corruption in Carabel, specifically a traffic ticket that Deputy Ralph Gordon had mysteriously revoked weeks earlier. The ticket involved a civilian who had complained about Gordon's conduct, alleging the deputy had demanded payment to make the citation disappear. Standard FBI procedure: meet the deputy, ask some questions, file a report. The meeting was supposed to be routine. Gordon had agreed to meet at a Burger King parking lot in Carabel, a small coastal town where everybody knows everybody. But from the moment Gordon saw Hatton's federal credentials, something was wrong. At 3:45 in the body cam footage, you can hear the deputy's suspicion turn to paranoia. "I don't believe this. There's something fishy with this right here." The irony is palpable. Here was a federal agent conducting a legitimate investigation into police corruption being called fishy by the very officer under investigation. Hatton remained calm, professional. He showed his FBI badge, his credentials, even his covert vehicle registration. But Gordon wasn't buying it. His voice carried the arrogance of someone who believed his badge made him untouchable. "Your vehicle's coming back to a wiring company, not the FBI," Gordon sneered, his voice dripping with accusation. "It's a covert vehicle," Hatton explained patiently. "Standard federal procedure. The FBI uses various front companies to register their undercover vehicles, a practice that's been standard for decades. Nothing unusual." But reasonable expectations weren't enough for a deputy whose ego had already been bruised by a federal investigation into his conduct. Gordon's body language on camera shows a man who feels cornered, defensive, and increasingly aggressive. At 4:20, you can hear Gordon on his radio. "This guy is telling me to turn my body camera off and telling me he's going to contact other people." The first lie: Hatton never asked him to turn off his camera. In fact, he encouraged transparency, knowing that the footage would protect both of them. But Gordon was already constructing a narrative that would justify what he was planning to do next. What happened next reveals everything wrong with unchecked police power. At 5:28, Gordon made his move. "You are detained at this time, sir." Hatton, hands raised, complied completely. "Feel like I'm being detained. Am I being detained?" "You are detained at this time, sir." No crime, no probable cause, just a federal agent doing his job, now treated like a criminal by the very person he was investigating. The body cam captures Gordon's voice, thick with false authority. "You're being very uncooperative with me. You asked me to come up here. You called my personal cell phone number." But here's the truth the footage reveals. Hatton had been nothing but cooperative. He answered every question, provided every document, and remained calm despite escalating hostility. At 6:12, Gordon's paranoia reached new heights. He keeps getting on his radio, but I don't hear any traffic coming back from the other end. Gordon couldn't hear FBI radio traffic, so that made Hatton a fake federal agent? The logic was insane, but Gordon was already too deep in his lie to back down. When Gordon's supervisor arrived, you can hear the deputy's confidence as he briefed his boss. "Nobody's coming up with your name. You're also coming back on a terror watch list." Another lie. Hatton wasn't on any terror watch list, but Gordon needed to justify what he was about to do next. The body cam footage captures Gordon fabricating story after story, claiming Hatton was uncooperative, alleging he was suspicious, insisting his credentials were fake. Each lie built on the last, creating a narrative that existed only in Gordon's paranoid mind. What's terrifying is just how convincing Gordon sounded to his colleagues. His tone, his confidence, his apparent certainty, all designed to justify the unjustifiable. At 11:05, the situation turned deadly. Handcuffs clicked. Agent Hatton was forced into the back of a police cruiser on a sweltering Florida afternoon. The temperature outside was 85 degrees, but inside that metal box, it felt like an oven. The windows barely cracked. The air conditioning, if it worked, was no match for the suffocating heat. For anyone who's never experienced the inside of a police cruiser, imagine being locked in a metal box with no way out, no control over your environment, completely at the mercy of someone who clearly has no regard for your well-being. The back seats are designed to be uncomfortable, with hard plastic surfaces that become scorching hot in direct sunlight. "I can't breathe, sir. I can't breathe," Hatton gasped at 12:40. Gordon's response? "You're being detained right now. I got the air on full blast, sir." But the bodycam footage tells a different story. You can hear Gordon telling a colleague, "I had the defroster on, I switched it to mint, and he said it's still hot." The defroster in Florida heat with a federal agent trapped in the back seat. Think about that for a moment. Gordon wasn't just negligent, he was actively making the situation worse. The defroster pumps hot air to clear windshields in winter conditions. In Florida's December heat, it was essentially turning the cruiser into a torture chamber. At 13:15, Hatton's voice, now desperate, "I know you think this is funny, but it won't be funny after today." He was right. The most chilling part of the footage is Gordon's casual demeanor. He's chatting with colleagues, joking around, completely oblivious to the fact he's slowly cooking a federal agent alive in the back of his cruiser. You can hear him laughing, making small talk, as if he hasn't just committed a federal crime. Medical experts who later reviewed the footage estimated that Hatton's core body temperature was reaching dangerous levels. Heat exhaustion was setting in, and without intervention, he could have suffered permanent injury or death. At 13:45, everything changed. Gordon's radio crackled. "This gentleman is out of the Panama City District. I'm on the phone with his supervisor. He is legit. He is legit. 10:45. Who just called? Uncuff him, now." The moment of truth. The bodycam captures Gordon's voice, suddenly uncertain. Captain Webb just called, but it was too late. Agent Hatton was hyperventilating, his body shutting down from heat exhaustion and stress. "Call 911. Call 911. I need medical attention right now," Hatton gasped at 16:51. The same deputy, who had been so confident in his authority, was now scrambling for water, begging paramedics to hurry, desperately trying to undo what his arrogance had caused. The ambulance arrived at 19:58. Agent Hatton was rushed to Tallahassee Memorial Hospital, fighting for his life, because a corrupt deputy couldn't handle being investigated. But the story doesn't end there. The FBI launched a full investigation into Gordon's conduct. The bodycam footage, the same footage Gordon thought would protect him, became the smoking gun that exposed his lies, his abuse of power, and his complete disregard for federal law. Within 48 hours, Gordon was suspended without pay. Within a week, he was fired. Within a month, he was facing federal charges for violating Agent Hatton's civil rights under color of law, a felony that carries up to 10 years in prison. Gordon's career was over. His department faced federal scrutiny, and Agent Hatton, he survived, but the trauma of that day would stay with him forever. Medical records show he suffered from severe heat exhaustion, dehydration, and post-traumatic stress from the incident. The most chilling part? This wasn't Gordon's first time abusing his authority. The FBI investigation uncovered a pattern of misconduct, of using his badge to intimidate and control rather than serve and protect. Internal affair records revealed Gordon had multiple complaints against him. Citizens are reporting excessive force, intimidation tactics, and abuse of authority. One complaint involved Gordon allegedly demanding sexual favors from a female motorist in exchange for not arresting her. Another involved him threatening to plant drugs on a man who'd filed a complaint against him. Yet, he remained on the force, his badge protecting him from consequences. The thin, blue line had become a wall of silence, protecting corrupt officers at the expense of public safety. Until he messed with the wrong person. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office, Gordon's employer, faced a federal civil rights investigation. The Department of Justice launched a pattern and practice investigation into the entire department, examining years of complaints and use of force incidents. The cost to taxpayers? Over $2 million in legal fees and settlements. But here's what's truly unbelievable. If not for that bodycam footage, Gordon's versions of events might have stood. A federal agent's word against a local deputy, a classic case of he said, she said. Instead, the truth was captured in high definition. Every lie, every abuse of power, every moment of escalating tyranny, all recorded for the world to see. The footage went viral. Millions watched as Gordon's arrogance crumbled in real time. Comments poured in from across the country, many from other law enforcement officers, disgusted by Gordon's conduct. One comment that stuck out: "This is why good cops hate bad cops, because they make us all look like criminals." Think about it. In 2019, a federal agent investigating corruption was nearly killed by the very corruption he was investigating. If that can happen to an FBI agent, what happens to ordinary citizens who don't have federal backup? The answer is chilling, and it's happening every day across America. Would you have stayed calm in Agent Hatton's situation? Could you have survived what he survived? Share this story, because the only thing more dangerous than corrupt cops is a public that stays silent about their crimes. Hit like if this story shocked you, subscribe if you want to see more truth exposed, and remember, in a world where power corrupts, the camera is often our only witness to justice, because sometimes the badge doesn't make you the hero, sometimes it makes you the villain, and sometimes the truth is the only thing that can save us all.